Hi, travelers. Hope you're having a good day, evening, whatever time it is for you. It's been a while. I think I'm on my, oh goodness, 12th or 13th day now. And the last time that we talked, I was gonna go to the Ghibli Park, I believe. So I did end up going to the Ghibli Park, and that was in Nagakute, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It was definitely cool seeing like all the different, it's basically almost like a museum. It had a bunch of statues of the different characters from the Ghibli movies, and it had a lot of like the original like drawings, as well as like probably some of the original like films that were available for like purchase and everything like that. So it was definitely neat seeing that. I feel it was a little bit underwhelming, but I'm also not a huge like Disney person, or like Disneyland. I mean, I love the Disney movies. Let me correct myself. But I'm not like a huge like theme park person. But I mean, I'm here in Japan and they just opened up the Ghibli Park, so I wanted to go, and I went and I enjoyed it for what it was. So yeah, if you're like huge into Studio Ghibli and you're here in Japan and you have the opportunity to get tickets, I definitely would go, because you don't want to miss out on that. But yeah, so I did that, and I think the next thing I did after that, so I was, let me back up for a second. So I was exhausted after, I think I spent about 3 hours at the Ghibli Park, and mind you, I think I had to drive like an hour to the park itself. So I was pretty exhausted by the end of it, but I decided that I would try to drive to Gifu and see if I could find a park there to overnight. And so I did that. I drove to Gifu, which was, I think, maybe 45 minutes away from the Ghibli Park. And I was very disappointed. I basically couldn't find any like parking there. I just kept getting like a very like weird vibe from the area. It seemed very like conservative, so me driving around in the vehicle, the overland vehicle that I've rented, and trying to find parking, it wasn't working out. I found a couple little like parks and what have you, but there were signs at every single park I went to that said you couldn't like overnight there or camp there. So I didn't want to risk it. I found one little kind of like off area off the side of the road, kind of like a little dirt road where I could kind of like nestle in, and there was another vehicle there that was probably doing just that, but I don't know, I felt very uncomfortable. So I also needed to pick up some food as well in case, you know, I did end up settling down and needed to cook and what have you. So I went to a grocery store and I was like, you know what, I'll go to the grocery store and I'll drive around a little bit more and see if I can find another place. And I found, so I went to the grocery store and then like I said, drove around a little bit and I found a little parking area that seemed fairly empty. Like there was like a group of like soccer or like baseball, like a team playing there. So like I parked and I didn't start getting set up. I kind of was taking pictures around there, and then one of the members from the team came over, and I mean, they didn't speak English, and I, you know, obviously don't speak Japanese, but I could kind of guess what they were trying to say, so I kind of like gestured like an X, and being like, I can't park here, right? And they basically said like, yeah, you can't park here. It's only for like the baseball people, or team. So yeah, and like I understood, but it just, again, I was getting that vibe from basically the whole Gifu area, so it kind of disappointing. But anyway, so it was about like 4 or 5 p.m. and I'm like, it's starting to get night and I need some place to situate. It's also like going to start drizzling in a little bit and raining, so I'm like, I need to find a place to situate myself. So what I ended up doing was going back to the place that was in my last video, which was a little michi-no-eki, again, kind of like a little roadside station, if I haven't said that before. But yeah, so I drove back about an hour and a half, and again, mind you, it's getting late and it's already, you know, sun is down. It's starting to drizzle a little bit, so I'm definitely out of my comfort zone, but at that point I'm like, I just want to get to a safe spot and, you know, move on. And then I can figure out what I need to do tomorrow. So did that, got to the place, set up the rooftop tent, and the night went fine after that. But yeah, it was interesting finding that little town. Like I said, I don't know why I was getting that vibe. I don't know, it's just, you know, everything that happened in that short time period. I would love to go back maybe one day and give it another shot, not necessarily like in a vehicle, but just to see what's around there. But yeah, it just wasn't the thing for that day. And then the next day was when I drove to Kyoto and I stayed at a little B&B. And so today, I left that B&B, and the past couple days have been amazing. So the owners of the B&B, it was this couple, and they are the absolute nicest people like I could have stayed with. And they moved to Japan from Australia. They've been here for about 6 years, and because in Japan you need, you know, as a foreigner, if you plan to stay long term, you need to apply for like a visa, and you need to have, you know, a reason that you're basically staying here, like something beneficial to the country. So that might be a business, that might be, you know, whatever it is that you're doing here. So they decided to open their little B&B, and basically I think they have 4 or 5 rooms, if I'm remembering correctly. So there were other guests there, but it was just such a cute space and such a safe space as well. Not that, again, I've been traveling around and driving around Japan and what have you, and I've felt very safe in this country. But I felt, you know, just kind of like I was at home, and just very, very accepted. I had a lot of really good conversations with them, and then I also made friends with 2 of the other guests, and we exchanged contact information. One is from Italy and the other one is from Germany, and we're hoping to get, you know, reconnected after our travels are done and see if we can maybe, you know, visit each other in each other's countries. So, I mean, that, I feel like that's what I was looking for when I came here to Japan, you know, is like a little bit of that connection with people, you know. And yeah, so that was really wonderful. And I kind of fell in love with Kyoto, even though it's also very city. It's a little bit different than Tokyo. Like, it wasn't as populated, and yeah, I've gotten a chance to see more cherry blossoms as well, which has been really nice. I think I said in videos before that, you know, I was a little bit disappointed that I was missing the cherry blossoms in Tokyo and other areas that I've been driving around, but I got a fair amount in Kyoto. So yeah, so it's been going more positive. I've had such good connections, again, just staying at that B&B. Just met some really amazing people and had some really delightful conversations, and really like deep conversations as well with these basically strangers, you know what I mean? But I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Is just going out there, traveling, doing things you love, and meeting people that are just, you know, just good people. So yeah. And then as far as like my activities in Kyoto, I went to like a kabuki theater and saw like a little performance there. And then I also, I signed up for if you're familiar with Airbnb experiences, I found like a kendo experience. So I did that, and that was also a very like wholesome, enlightening experience, because the teacher or sensei that was kind of leading the course was he started off with like the history of kendo, which was, you know, really interesting, and like the history of samurai and why, you know, eventually like, you know, samurai was just not something that Japan wanted, or what have you. I don't know the full story. Definitely look it up. I'm probably butchering this all. But so yeah, so he went over the history, and he also like talked about his personal story with with kendo, you know, how he got to where he is now. And so yeah, so it was just a really cool hearing his story. And then he obviously showed us some like kendo moves. We got dressed in like the kendo garb and what have you. So yeah. I'm trying to recount, you know, a few days worth of activities and what have you. So I'm a little bit scatterbrained, but all that to say is I went to Kyoto. I had an amazing time in Kyoto. I loved it there. Met some amazing people, and today I drove to one of the southwestern islands. I'm currently in another michi-no-eki that's, as you see, by the coast, and I'm not exactly sure what this area is called, but it's basically around like the Ehime, I think it is the way to pronounce it. So yeah, so I just arrived not too long ago and found myself here, and there's a lovely sunset going on, as you can see. So yeah. I think that's about it. Like I mentioned earlier, I mean, definitely, you know, some not so great experiences at Gifu and, you know, little things like that, but it's been, overall, I've been enjoying my time more and more. So that's good. And I've got, I think, about 10 or 12 more days, 10 days, I think, with the vehicle, and a couple more days in Tokyo, just kind of getting situated before my flight back home. So I'm going to try to keep enjoying every moment that I can and not focusing so much on the negative, but also letting, you know, whatever emotions come about, because that's also important and valid. So yeah, I'll let you all just kind of listen to the sounds around me and continue watching the sunset, and hope y'all have a good one, and we will talk soon.